Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Sunday, July 26, 2020, 9:30 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Well, there's a bit of a delay. I'm not seeing us up on our feed yet, so I'm a little surprised. Nevertheless, just a quick happy birthday shout out to my pops. He is 88 years old today. Now, I'm not sure, but I believe that makes him an octogenarian. I think that's how that works. You double on the octa. Just gotta ask. Doc Ock. Anyway, it's Rules Retrospective Day, right? We've been working. A couple of weeks ago, we started in on the 1E AD&D classes, looking at fighters. We took the time to look at them retrospectively in regard to original D&D, so that we could figure out where they came from and get an idea if there was much that was carried over. We looked at the first edition fighters, and we left off having not yet looked at the subclasses. So we're going to do some of that today. Still working on green screen and lighting in here. I'm just going to make myself a little smaller and put myself a little further in the background. If that's the best way to take care of it for now. It's good enough. It works. I'm sitting in a new chair, by the way. Comfy. Just arrived yesterday. Treated myself to a non-thrift store chair. Man, I'll tell you. 60 years. I'm not sure I've ever had a computer chair that I didn't pick up on the cheap from a thrift store or from a big box store when it was super on sale. And I've got this very comfy. This was super on sale, but it's a really nice chair. So it's one of those lazy boy, big and tall. So it's meant to accommodate a man of girth like myself. Hey, I wanted to show off something. Our buddy Sean P. Conlon has a nice little zine-ish spell book that came out. You know, I'm not completely sure how to pronounce that. Acme's, I believe. Spellbook. You can pick this up on DriveThruRPG. Look for it under the Wolfsbane Manor publisher pages. And you'll see it's got all the legal information there and introduction. The first 100 were free. He may still have one or two of those left, so if you go and grab one sooner rather than later, maybe you'll all sorts of cool stuff here. And it's all ready for shipping, because it is indeed a fancy zine type production. It's nice. It's really nice. It's got some cool spells in it. Go check it out and grab a copy. Help support Wolfsbane Manor in these trying times. I know I usually save this stuff for tomorrow, but also let me just mention the clock's winding down on that Tom Tullis Fat Dragon Games Kickstarter, the Vallis Mortis. I think there's a little over a week left, so maybe not even. I'll have to double check that. I'll make a square up announcement tomorrow for Gary Gygax Day, which, by the way, don't forget, today and tomorrow, run a game. Run a game or find one to play in. Doesn't have to be D&D. Any old RPG will do. If you can't manage to get an RPG together, do a board game. Gary played board games, lots of them. He invented one or two himself. Certainly, as a publisher, several came out under his company's banners. So, do it up. Play a game. That's what Gary Gygax Day is all about. And this, of course, being Gary Gygax Day weekend, the weekend leading up to Gary Gygax Day. Play today. If you played yesterday or Friday, it counts. As long as you're raising a glass to the man himself who gave us so much. Oh, yeah, I know. Everyone's going to jump in right there and say, what about Arneson? What about Dave Wesley? What about McGarry, too? All those people, they all contributed. But at the end of the day, somebody sat down at a typewriter, somebody punched that mother out, and somebody got it to a printer's and made it into a game that we could all purchase and play. Until that happened, I contend, we didn't really have a Dungeons and Dragons. We had people that were messing around with role-playing, and we had people that were playing a sort of proto-D&D, for sure. Absolutely. All credit to them for creating some of the groundwork that became what it is at that time when it was published, and eventually what it became today. But can you imagine if it had never gotten published? What do you think the video game industry would be like right now without role-playing games having been published, without them having achieved the success of a Dungeons and Dragons? Because you know what? If Dungeons and Dragons doesn't get published, that doesn't mean that the next person who manages to get an RPG published makes it into what D&D became, with that kind of popularity, that kind of marketing savvy. You can say that he was stumbling over his own 2 feet to get there, and it's probably true to some degree. But at the end of the day, we got what we got because Gary made it happen. And therein lies the crux of all of those discussions everybody likes to have about what Gary did or didn't do, what he managed to get done or should have done differently, all of that other stuff. Proof's in the pudding. Dungeons and Dragons is what it is now because it is what he made it then. Computer games, RPGs on computers, are what they are now because he did what he did when he did it back in 1974. And there you go. That's my opinion in a nutshell. I'm just going to see what the delay is on this screen over here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 seconds from the point at which I raised my hand to the point at which I saw it raised on Twitch on my screen. Now, hopefully everything's synced up anyway, and my voice is coming out when I mean it to. But if it isn't, So be it. We're 10 minutes in, and I want to get in on these fighter type creature guys. They're player characters. Come on, Clover. Anywho, we got the Paladin. We got the Paladin in hell. We got the Paladin. Paladin's character. A Paladin character is a fighter subclass, but unlike normal fighters, all Paladins must begin as lawful good in alignment and always remain lawful good, or absolutely lose all of their special powers which are given to them. They have both fighting abilities and limited spell powers at high level. To become a Paladin, a character must be human, have a strength of not less than 12, a minimum intelligence of 9, a wisdom of 13 or more, a minimum constitution of 9, and not less than a 17 charisma. If a Paladin has both strength and wisdom in excess of 15, he or she gains the benefits of adding 10% to the experience points awarded by the Dungeon Master. Look at that. 1978. Player's Handbook published with a he or she. That's some forward thinking. Law and good deeds are the meat and drink of Paladins. Hey, LexFire22, how you doing today? If they ever knowingly perform an act which is chaotic in nature, they must seek a high level, 7th or above, cleric of lawful good alignment, confess their sin, and do penance as prescribed by the cleric. Dungeon Master. If a Paladin should ever knowingly and willingly perform an evil act, he or she loses the status of Paladinhood immediately and irrevocably. All benefits are then lost, and no deed or magic can restore the character to Paladinhood. He or she is ever after a fighter. Whew! How about that? That's pretty strict, right? We've got all these anti-Paladins now in D&D and other games and third-party publishing stuff. You've got lawful neutral Paladins or Knights, Cavaliers, call them what you will. Everybody's like, oh, I want to play a Paladin, but I don't want to be stuck being lawful stupid. I don't want to be lawful good. It's too restrictive. That's like saying, I want to play King Lear, but I don't want him to be the king. Hey, you want to role play? Pick a part. Play the part. Don't be whining about how the part isn't written to the way you want it to be written. Write your own parts. Write your own plays. Don't call them Paladins, though. That's taken by the lawful good folk. Anywho, where are we at? The benefits of a Paladin are, number 1, detect evil at up to 60-foot distance, as often as desired, but only when the Paladin is concentrating or determining the presence of evil and seeking to detect it in the right general direction. It's not just a constantly on radar. It is concentrating and determining the presence of evil. Got to be focused on it. Got to be trying to feel it. Number 2, make all saving throws at +2 on the dice. Nice. Immunity to all forms of disease. Okay. Number 4. the ability to lay on hands, either on others or on his or her own person, to cure wounds. This heals 2 points of damage per level of experience of the Paladin that the Paladin has attained. But laying on hands can be performed but once a day. Interesting, right? A little bit of healing. You know exactly how much it's going to do. You can do it once a day. Number 5, the ability to cure disease of any sort. This can be done once per week for each 5 levels of experience that the Paladin has attained. Level 1 through 5, 1 disease per week. At 6 through 10, 2 diseases. At levels 11 through 15, 3 diseases, etc. So a first level Paladin can cure disease. Essentially throw in a high level Cleric spell. That's a thing. Especially when one considers what I was posting yesterday about, which was a section of the DMG that over on Questing Beast on the YouTube channel over there, he had read about diseases in the DMG, which talks about how once a month or more often in your campaign, or more often if conditions warrant it, you should be rolling if people are getting a disease. Imagine, once you take that out of the equation of being a regular D&D first edition trope, once you remove that, you're gutting number 3 and number 5 of the 6 main things a Paladin can do. You're undercutting the purpose of having a Paladin. That's kind of mean. Nerf. Let's go on, because we didn't read that 6th thing yet, and that is the continuing emanation of a protection from evil. This is the thing you don't have to focus on. In a 10-foot radius around the Paladin. This is nice. This is just because he's so holy, it's tough for evil to get at him or people within 10 feet of him. Isn't that nice? When you run up against some undead, some evil creatures, you want to shoulder to shoulder with this guy. Undoubtedly. Let's go on, because it says, furthermore, at 3rd level, the Paladin gains the power to affect undead and devils and demons as if he were a 1st level cleric. 3rd level Paladin can turn like a 1st level cleric. And this power goes upward with each level of experience a Paladin gain. 4th level as if 2nd, 5th level as if 3rd, so on. Not bad, McGee. 8. PoE 10 foot is big as well as the +2 save for starting out. It is indeed. Now, some of that's campaign dependent. If you're running some sort of urban campaign, you're not going down in dungeons, you're not going out to ruins, you're not fighting a lot of monsters, you're doing some sort of a papers and paychecks sort of, we're all members of a guild. Oh, maybe there's some evil in town, but there's going to be a lot less of it than if you're dungeon crawling, if you're exploring crypts and tombs. Any place where there's going to be more undead is just naturally going to have more evil and make the Paladin a much more useful player character right out of the gate, as LexRider22 is pointing out. Furthermore, though, excuse me, number 9, if a Paladin has a holy sword, parentheses, a special magic sword which your referee is aware of and will explain to you if the need arises, close parentheses. He or she projects a circle of power 10 foot in diameter when the holy sword is unsheathed and held, and this power dispels magic at the level of magic use equal to the experience level of the paladin. He can use the holy sword to dispel magic in his immediate area. So if he's held by some sort of force and he happens to have his sword out at the time, he might be able to just flat out dispel a spell coming at him. Pretty neat. Number 10, a 9th level through 20th level of experience. At 9th level through 20th level of experience, paladins gain the ability to employ cleric spells. They may never use scrolls of spells, however, except those normally usable by fighters. So at 9th level, he's like a 1st level cleric when it comes to casting spells, too. The following strictures apply to paladins. Number 1, they may never retain more than 10 magic items. These may never exceed 1 suit of armor, 1 shield, 4 weapons, and any other 4 magic items. When it comes to weapons, there's a footnote. These include daggers, swords, etc., and such items as magic bows and magic arrows are considered but 1 weapon. So you don't count each arrow. If you've got a bow and arrows, it counts as 1. As long as they're all magical. There's that paladin in hell. What's the rest of this say here? Number 2 on the restrictions. They will never retain wealth, keeping only sufficient treasure to support them in a modest manner. Pay henchmen, men-at-arms, and servitors to construct, maintain a small castle. Your DM may give you details of this as necessary. Excess is given away, as is the tithe. Number 3 below. Number 3, the immediate tithe, 10% of all income, be it treasure, wages, or whatever, must be given to whatever charitable religious institution. Not a clerical player character. Nice try. Of lawful good alignment the paladin selects. So, probably the temple he's tied to, if he is. If not, some other good, lawful good temple or entity or charity. Got to be lawful good, though, right? Number 4, paladins will have henchmen of lawful good alignment and none other. They will associate only with characters and creatures of good alignment. Yep. There's a big flaw in a lot of campaigns, right? What are they doing traveling with neutrals? Certainly you're flat out saying paladins won't travel with neutral druids, right? Anywho, good alignment. Paladins can join a company of adventurers with contained non-evil neutrals only on a single expedition basis and only if some end which will further the cause of lawful good is proposed. So, no ongoing campaigns with non-good aligned folk. Yet we see it all the time, don't we? And number 5, if possible, paladins will take service or form alliance with lawful good characters, whether players or not, who are clerics or fighters, parenthetically, of noble status. Okay. Paladins do not attract a body of men-at-arms to service as do regular fighters. There's that Paladin table. Their level titles. I always love the level titles, right? Gallant, Keeper, Protector, Defender, Warder, Guardian, Chevalier, Justicar, Paladin. Once you get above, kind of like the fighter, you get the +3 per level on the accumulated hit points. Additional levels beyond this experience points, 350. Paladins gain 3, that's what we just said. Here's the spell chart for clerical spells that Paladins will use starting at 9th level. Maximum spell ability is at the Paladin's 20th level. Well, I'll tell you what, that's the Paladins. I don't think we should jump into the Ranger. We'll save that for next week because we are close to out of time, and I don't want to run over by that much. So, what we will do is we will just say thank you so very much. Thank you for following the channel. We got your name on the list for the new week there, LexFire22. How about that? Because we keep track every week of the people that are in the stream chat chiming in that are also followers of the channel. And once each week, we randomly select somebody from the people that are followers that chimed in, and we announce them on Monday as having been here in the chat chiming in, and we thank them with a little gift. Coming up tomorrow, we'll be giving somebody a free badge to Virtual Gamehole Con coming up at the end of October, first weekend of November. And that'll be fun. Hey, by the way, what do we got here? Oh, I see what we need to do. We need to do this and that. Then we need to do this, because I wanted to show everybody very quickly a reminder. Gary Gygax Day tomorrow, but this whole weekend is Gary Gygax Day weekend, so running games this weekend is a good thing. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. on Monday night, I plan to run an adventure. Ping me here in the PMs if you're available and wish to play. It's a Roll20 game. You'll need to have a good internet connection, obviously, and a headset that works very well. You'll need to have a Roll20 account. Preferably you have a basic running knowledge of it. I'm not sure that we'll have enough time to bring new people up to speed on tomorrow's game. We can do that some other time, of course. I'm always happy to help people out, learn how to play with Roll20. But I think in the time crunch for Gary Gygax Day, we'll be looking for people with some experience in that regard. If you're around tomorrow, 9:30 a.m., we'll do that weekly news and announcement, cartography and world building on Tuesday, campaign discussion on Wednesday, game running tips on Thursday, building adventures on Friday, DM reviews on Saturday, background to the rules retrospective next Sunday. Again, I want to thank everybody who's following the channel and chimed in on the stream. I also want to say thank you to anybody who's catching up with this on YouTube. If you're on there, please do subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Maybe make a constructive criticism comment on the YouTube channel too if you like. I do appreciate it. And again, thank you to everybody. Have a great day. And if I don't catch you, have a happy Gary Gygax day. Bye-bye.